Hey, welcome to the Lick of the Week videos. After talking to a few students over the past couple of weeks about licks, it seemed that they had given me a good topic for the Lick of the Week maybe. I've noticed a trend amongst some of the students here in the past few months of getting a little bit confused about what licks are in Scruggs style and the definition of a lick, because we know as bluegrass banjo players the word lick is probably at the top of most players' pages of things to know to be a bluegrass banjo player. So we tend to be a lick-driven group of players, and licks are essential, especially Scruggs style. There are some standardized licks that every good Scruggs player should know. But I thought with these videos maybe we would examine some of the definitions of what a lick is and how to identify a lick and how to hear and understand when you hear a lick versus something that's not a lick. Now, the first thing we have to do is determine what a lick is. And to me, the definition of a lick in bluegrass banjo would be a set of notes played together as like a short or a long musical phrase that can be taken out of context of melody, can be taken out of just generic roll patterns, and it's a statement you make with a set of notes like or any kind of defined set of notes that you recognize as a pattern that's repeatable, that you go, oh, that is a lick. And to me, it's not really a complicated process if you really listen and study what bluegrass banjo is made up of component-wise. Now for me, for my students, what I'll try to do is identify where licks happen in songs as opposed to what I call generic roll patterns. So I'm going to use a song example to see if I can clarify this. And again, this could be a topic for debate. I know a couple of the students mentioned that one of the forums on the Hangout had some pretty heated discussions about licks and what they are. Is a lick melody? And you know, licks are always melody, or licks are never melody, or melody doesn't need licks. There was seemed a lot of things that happened that were causing a lot of confusion for these particular people. So maybe in the next few weeks we'll study some of this, and hopefully I can maybe help clarify it. But so for today's video, let's concentrate on a song example and see if we can isolate roll patterns from lick patterns. I'm going to use the song Worried Man Blues. That's a song that a lot of beginners learn or are familiar with. What I'm going to do here is play some nice rolling patterns that may have some left hand techniques, ornaments, whatever you like to call them, slides, hammers, pull-offs, but they won't really be phrases that are going to be that dynamic. They're not going to be these little sentences, musical phrases that I talked about that you're going to hear as licks. They're just going to be nice, smooth rolling patterns to provide a wall of notes to sing over, kind of like a canvas to a painter. It's just going to be a nice canvas on which we will sing these melody notes. So let's do the generic rolling backup Worried Man Blues. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long. Now you notice I was slightly out of tune. I noticed that. But you know, I had slides, I had a couple of added notes, you know, but nothing in there would be what I would classify as the definition of a Scruggs lick. And I don't want to get into the debates in the video, have people debate what a lick is or what isn't, because everybody could have their own definition. But most good Scruggs players who have experience playing Scruggs style banjo could pretty much tell you that I didn't really play any licks in that. Those were just roll patterns, even though they had left hand ornaments going on. Now let's go a notch above that, and I'm not going to tell you where I'm going to play a lick, but just so that you can recognize the difference, I will play a few standardized Scruggs licks in a few places, and you should be able to tell, even though you may not be that familiar with these terms, licks and rolls. Even if you're a new player, you should be able to hear that there's something different and something really set apart about those phrases that I play, those licks. So same song again. It takes a worried man, sing a worried song. Takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Takes a worried man, sing a worried song. I'm worried now, I won't be worried long. Okay, that version had some rolls, but it also had licks, dedicated Scruggs licks. And sometimes you can have licks that were never written by Earl, obviously, but we'll classify them as Scruggs style because of the way they're structured. So you could learn thousands of licks, and there are literally thousands of them to learn. But if you really pay attention to what's going on in the banjo when you hear a player playing something like rolls with hammers and slides and chokes, you will be able to tell the dramatic difference between that and the lick. Now, how does that lick function in the song? Is it melody? Is it not melody? Is it filler? Is it not filler? There's a lot of questions that we can cover in these videos. But for this video, let's just try to be clear about what licks are in Scruggs style as opposed to what licks are not. And for my purposes as a teacher and a player, the generic rolling patterns that you hear in Scruggs style and that you hear players play are more or less like a canvas analogy. It's just a nice wall of banjo roll notes that provide a good backdrop. It provides drive and rhythm, but you're not playing any dedicated patterns of notes that can be set apart and said, here is a lick, here's a lick. Even though you heard some things like hammers and slides. I'll play Worried Man Blues again for the rest of the video, and I'm trying to see, well, we still have time. I'll give another pass at that and maybe add a few more ornaments with the right hand, but still not to try to play any dedicated licks. I'll just try to ramp up the ornaments with the left hand so that even though this is going to be generic rolling background music, that it will be a little more tasty maybe. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. Takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long. Now to me, you know, that's a step above the first version of the song that I played, but again, I don't really consider that myself playing any real Scruggs licks in that particular backup scenario. Even though I had some interesting note choices, I was still just providing a roll pattern. Had some different slides on different strings. I had hammers going on, but there was nothing in those patterns that I played that really stood out as a lick. Now you might listen to another person's opinion and say, well, I think when John did this, that he did a lick, because that sounds like the roll pattern that I've learned from, say, Foggy Mountain Breakdown. But I really didn't reproduce the whole section of Foggy Mountain Breakdown. I just used a hammer with a roll pattern. And just using something for the left hand like an ornament, like a hammer on while you do a roll, is not considered a Scruggs lick, because it's not a standalone musical phrase that has an impact that you can go, wow, that sounded like a lick. So now we are running low on time. For the rest of the video, I will play the song again and add a few standard Scruggs licks, and we'll continue this discussion in the next video. I appreciate it. Thank you.